Greetings EGR 180 students. This is the SolidWorks demo for Unit 2. Basically, I'm going to show you some assembly fun on this one. So I've got SolidWorks open already. I'm going to go up to New. This time I'm going to select an assembly. Say okie dokie. Get a blank screen, and the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to come up and say, hey, if you're doing an assembly, I'm going to need some parts. So let's go out and find some. You have to bear with me for a minute as I grind through. Oh, I'm actually in the right thing here. What do I want? I want the flat bar 3-hole. There it is. This is my first part. I say, yes, please bring that in, and there it is. All right. If I take this off the screen and click OK, it will, excuse me for not turning this on, it will lock it in to the origin. Please notice right now, if I grab this part and try and move it, it ain't moving. All right, that's because, see that little F right there? It's fixed. Now, if I want to, I can right click this and I can tell it to float, and then I can move it around. All right, the only time you're really going to do that is if you actually put it in there incorrectly. All right, so right now it's where I want it to be, so we're happy. All right, so by itself, not very exciting. Let's get it fit the screen. Let's go get some more stuff. So I'm going to go back up here to Insert Components. I'm going to go back down and look. This time I'm looking for a shaft collar. It is right there. I'm going to bring it in. And notice this one, when I bring it in, boy, I can pretty much put it anywhere I want. So if I drop it down there and say, geez, that's where I want it, actually I can grab it and move it around. Right here again, can't move this guy. It is fixed. All right, so let's just say I want to put this on the end here, and I want to align that hole with that one. Well, the easiest way for us to do that is with a concentric mate. First, I want to point out that this guy, shaft collar, do you see that little minus sign right there? That means that this piece is underdefined, and if it's underdefined in assembly, it means I can move it around. All right, I can move it around in many directions. In this case, it has many degrees of freedom. So let's fix that. Let's go up into our mate. I click on that, and all I have to do, this is the box that I'm going to work with. If I click the inside of this, it says yes, that's that face. I click the inside of that, it says yes. And notice SolidWorks comes right up and says, see that this guy is grayed out here. It says, oh, I think you probably want a concentric mate here. Yeah. And sadly, it's almost always right. And so if that's correct, all you have to do is come down here and click the little I love it dude, and notice now I can still move it around, but if I pan it, see, it is totally locked into that guy. All right, it's right on the middle. So if I come back down here again, this is where holding my mouse key down and moving things around, this is hugely useful in SolidWorks. All right, so I can move it back and forth, but I actually want to fix this to that face. How do I do it? I'm going to do another mate. Right, mate box is empty. I'm going to whip this around, select that face, going to whip this around, select that face, and guess what? SolidWorks says, oh dude, you want coincident, don't you? And I'm like, yes, I hate it when you're right, but I do love it, and there you go. Now, hit my good friend Control-7, and notice something interesting. If I say, yes, I love that mate, and I go back, hey, wait a minute, this little dude still has the minus sign, which means it's still not fully defined. See, our assembly says underdefined. Why? I don't know if you can see this, but if I grab it, I can actually spin it. Do you see the origin of that guy moving right down there? See, I can spin that. I don't want to do that. I need to lock that in place too. Right, so what do I need? I need another mate. So I pick up the mate thing. Now, something very important happened here, and I want you to look at this right here. See what's going on? See this guy? All right, if I make this go away, it's not there. As soon as I click mate, it pops back up, and I click this down arrow, and it shows me all my stuff. Right? So what's nice about this is I can say, hey, I want to mate the top plane of the 3-hole flat bar, top plane, with the, hang on a minute, let's extend that one, with the top plane of this guy, and watch it move. Oh, straightens it out. Happy, happy. Do I love it? Yes, I do. Big surprise. Fully defined. Yahoo. So I can grab this now. Won't let me spin it anymore. So that's pretty nifty. We have a fully defined assembly. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I want to add another shaft collar. Now please notice over here, as soon as that went from the minus sign, that minus sign went away. That meant that this guy is fully defined. Now, instead of going into, say I want another one of these here, instead of going up to insert components and all that kind of stuff, all I have to do is come over to shaft collar, hold down the control key, click, and is that neat or what? Right? So there you go. Bam, I've got a whole nother part here, but then again, this thing is totally, see, negative sign, underdefined. So I'm going to go through the same routine. Take my mate, I want that, and I want that, and SolidWorks says, hey, concentric, right? I say, you betcha. All right, now it's constrained on that. If I pick that face and that face, and again, they pick the right one, and I say yes to coincident, and now the only thing is that dude moves. So here I go again. I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to take that top plane of that, and now I'm going to take the top plane of the second. Whoops, sorry, I'm messing around with my origin there. I need to get that back up a little bit. The top plane of that shaft collar, say yes, I love that. This is a little bit messy. I clear this up for you. Go back into Control 7, and hey, guess what? Fully defined. And again, that minus sign went away. So when you send me an assembly, assuming I can open up because you did in fact use pack and go, the very first thing is I'm going to look down here, and it needs to say fully defined. If it doesn't, I'm going to go right over here and find the minus signs. And I'm going to say, as I take points off, shaft collar 1, not fully defined. Right? In other words, you didn't stop it from rotating. Right? And we can continue to have fun with this stuff. We can grab and insert something else. Let's see, I think this time I'm looking for an axle. Let's grab this guy. And there's an axle, and notice this stuff can kind of go through everything and like that. And it is SolidWorks. It'll let you do pretty much everything. Whee! And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that I want that in this hole, all right? But I want it centered on this guy, all right? So that's kind of fun. Let's do that. Now, please notice down here, what does the axle show? Minus sign. What does that mean? It means it's underdefined, okay? So let's define that. I'm going to click a mate. Also notice as soon as I added that part, the overall assembly went from fully defined to underdefined. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to click that, and SolidWorks says, hey, you want a concentric? And I say, yes, I do. And so now I have that in there, but wait a minute, how do I get it centered? Well, see that origin right here and see that origin right there? Hey, let's make those guys work together. So if I come here and let me, there you go, that makes it easier. Let's say I want to take, I have to do this two different ways. There's the right plane, and I click that. No, it's not what I want. No, just, that's good that I can show you this. If I go over to this box and I right click it, and I say clear collection, clear selections, goes away. Very nifty. So what I do in fact want is that one. I want the front plane of that, and on my axle, I want the front plane. Yes, I do. And when I pick that, ha-ha, I like it. So now if I look at this from the top, right, it's perfectly centered. Pretty cool. But wait a minute, I'm still underdefined. Why am I underdefined? Because I can still rotate that. See, notice the origin moving here? Can you see it move? Whee! So what do I want to do? I want to lock those two together. So this time I'm going to take the, what shall I take? Let's take, right plane. Let's try that. And the right plane of that. And see that? Ha ha! Lined them right up. Do I love it? Yes, I do. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Hey, guess what happened? It's fully defined. So, love that, mate. Happy, happy. If you haven't played with these up here yet, those are display styles. This guy also lets you look at all the different views. So let's say I want to look at this from the top. I can look at it from the top, and I can see that this is perfectly centered in there. Well, it's actually not because the origin's over there, but we could move that because this wasn't a mid-plane extrusion. But even still, pretty darn close. But what I'm after here is a fully defined sketch. So Again, Control 7, fit it to screen. This is just me goofing off here. But the thing is, notice here, the first part is fixed. There are no minus signs here. My assembly is fully defined. It's very, very happy. So, and a word about mates, right? When I come over to the mate world, these guys, some of these guys might be grayed out. If they're grayed out, that means you can't do that. So if you try and take a round item and fix it to that, it's going to give you one option that's tangent. It's not going to say perpendicular or parallel. It's not going to let you do any of those things. So it gets a little bit crazy. But these are the standard mates, right, that we're going to use all the time. Coincident basically makes two pieces touch together. Obviously, you know what parallel and perpendicular are. Tangent, we're going to use that a lot when we want to have something tangent, two circles to a point. Concentric obviously showed that with round objects, and lock will basically just lock apart completely. There's also the distance mate here and the angle mate. Now these two are used extensively in the CSWA, so you have to get used to using them. If you come down here a little bit, you'll find some really cool stuff. All the advanced mates and the mechanical mates. You've got cams and slots and hinges and gears and pinions and wahoo! A lot of fun things to play with. All right. Hopefully we'll get into those later on in the course. All right. But those are your basic mates. Pretty easy to work with. Just remember here, you can always clear selections. And also something that's very important, once I'm done with this stuff, this very last column right here that says mates, you can click on that and expand all these, and as you go over each one, it will highlight them and it will show you via these little arrows who's connected to what. So as I go through these, notice it highlights what's going on. And if by chance I say, listen, I really don't like that anymore, if I right click it, I can just say delete and make that go away. So that's also a handy thing to know when you're working with assemblies. All right, so that's it. Hope you have fun with assemblies in Unit 2. Don't hesitate to email me any questions or concerns. And as always, thanks so much for watching.